The ending of Cars becomes much more emotional when you realize what Lightning McQueen actually sacrifices. Cars is usually remembered as a children's movie about racing and colorful vehicles. But after becoming a father and watching the film probably dozens of times, I started noticing valuable lessons about humanity along the story. The most important one is the transformation of someone who initially measures his own worth only through victory and recognition. And Pixar deserves credit here for being able to deliver such emotional range through what are essentially cars with big eyes that, despite being very expressive, are still visually limited. At the beginning of the film, we meet Lightning McQueen, a racer who does not want friends, doesn't want connections, and doesn't even seem to care about racing itself. What he truly loves is the idea of winning, of feeling like he's the best, and knowing that everyone else thinks so too. The Piston Cup represents far more than a trophy. In his small world, it is the pinnacle of what a race car can achieve. Becoming champion means going from being just another car to becoming part of history, and this becomes even stronger because McQueen is not simply a talented competitor, he is a talented rookie, and he understands perfectly that his status can become his greatest advantage. This matters because his biggest goal comes with an expiration date. If he doesn't win that season, he will never again achieve that specific accomplishment. The following year, he still may become a champion, but he will no longer carry the glory of being a rookie winner. The film gives subtle hints that McQueen gets this, and the pressure helps explain part of his ego and obsession. Before the unprecedented three-way tie is announced, influenced by this mindset and by a self-confidence that looks like arrogance, McQueen fully believes he is about to become the first rookie champion in history. What follows is a small humiliation, perhaps life trying to cheat someone who still refuses to learn. McQueen literally dreams about status and self-promotion, fantasizing about joining Dinoco and the prestige that would come with it. He treats his own career with contempt, feels embarrassed about being sponsored by a rear-end ointment company, and believes rusty cars are bad for his image. His personal mantra, "I am speed," is both a fantasy of greatness and a delusion of transcendence. But the film slowly begins to change when he is forced to stop. Radiator Springs works almost like a violent interruption in the trajectory of someone completely consumed by his own ambition. And what makes the story feel so natural is that his growth does not happen through one grand speech. It happens gradually through some small experience and interactions. When Mater shows McQueen that he can drive backwards quickly without crashing, making sharp turns, and displaying a level of control he didn't even know it was possible, something shifts in his perception. Up until that point, McQueen saw Mater as another hillbilly from a forgotten small town. But for the first time, without his vision clouded by the racing world, he noticed genuine skill where he once saw only someone inferior. This matters because the film starts dismantling McQueen's limited view of life. He believed value come only from prestige and public recognition, but in Radiator Springs, he begins finding excellence in unexpected places and people, if you can say so. Another important moment is the sequence involving Frank, the combine harvester. Up until then, McQueen behaves like someone who believes he's always the dominant figure in every place he enters. But Frank's pursuit places him in a completely different situation. For the first time, he seems really vulnerable and afraid. The nightmare after the chase is especially interesting because it shows that the experience truly affected him. It is not just a comedic scene, there is actual terror in realizing what happens to whoever Frank catches. It's one of the rare moments where the film leaves McQueen emotionally exposed. Little by little, the character begins losing his usual cocky posture. But perhaps the most important change comes through Doc Hudson. Doc represents exactly the future McQueen's desires for himself: fame, talent, and success on the racetrack. However, after learning about Doc's past, McQueen realized something disturbing. Even someone extraordinary can be discarded by the world once they stop being useful. The scene where Doc reveals he was abandoned after his crash completely changes the way McQueen sees his own dream. For the first time, the Piston Cup stopped feeling like a final answer to life itself. And that's what makes the ending of the film so powerful, because when McQueen, on the final lap and leading the race, stops before the finish line to help the king, he's not simply performing a good deed. He's giving up the thing he desired the most throughout his entire journey. He's not sacrificing just a race. He's sacrificing his one and only opportunity to become the first rookie ever to win the Piston Cup, and that is crucial. He could have simply crossed the finish line and then gone back to help the old champion afterward, but by choosing to stop, he solidifies, both for the audience and especially for himself, the true dimension of the transformation that happened to him. The historic goal that obsessed him from the very beginning ceases to exist forever, and he is completely at peace with that. That is exactly what transforms the scene into something so impactful. His choice only carries real weight because there is real loss involved. We begin the film with McQueen believing that winning races is the only thing that gives meaning to his existence. We end it with a protagonist comfortably sheltered in the conviction that some victories belong to the moral podium. Maybe that's why the ending of Cars hit me so hard even today. Deep down, the story goes far beyond racing. It's about growing up as a person, as a man. It's about realizing that recognition does not replace human connection. And lastly, it shows that some of the most important decisions in life are precisely the ones where we let go of something we always believe we wanted. If you like this, please consider subscribe. If there is something else about the movie it worth mentioning, leave it as a comment. I'm Charlie, and I truly appreciate your time.